is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA. It's your news now.
And this is Saturday, March the 7th, and you have indeed entered Overtime, where we figure if you have to lose a full hour of your blessed weekend for the sake of the confounded vernal equinox, we better give you your money's worth right here on the front end of the deal to compensate for all that stolen sleep or whatever else you do during the course of a weekend. And after 5 straight days of largely nothing but bracket carnage for our region's college and high school trophy seekers, this proved to be a much more triumphant crescendo to our week. We start our journey tonight in Moberly, Missouri, where the Canton Tigers were looking to punch their ticket back to the Final Four for the second straight year and punch a hole in Salisbury's otherwise perfect season in doing so. And what we got today in terms of theater and ulcer-inducing moments was an instant classic.
Oh, easily the craziest game I've ever played.
It's definitely up there. You know, of course it's going to be intense. We're both very good teams, and we knew it was going to come down to the wire, and whoever toughed it out more could get the win.
There is no such thing in the sports world as accidentally undefeated. And whatever Salisbury's strength of schedule might have been relative to Canton's coming in, the Panthers' 28-0 mark certainly commanded respect. But if there was any doubt, Salisbury's strong start today would dispel it quickly. Emphasis on the word strong. Big man Keegan Wyatt blocked 5 Canton Tiger shots in the first 8 minutes as the Panthers answered every single Canton salvo and jumped out to 14-11 and ultimately 16-14 leads as the first quarter ended. Still, in the late moments of that first frame, there were clear signs that the Tigers were settling in. Gabe McKenzie would legitimize that logic by going on his own personal 6-0 run to give Canton its first lead since early on. First, a wing right deep 3 to make it 17-16, then here from the opposite corner again, from deep off a Cameron Durst reversal. Brady Francis would immediately answer, though, with a strong 1-on-3 take to cut the Tiger lead back down to 2. But Canton kept pushing tempo like J.K. Simmons right here. Lance Logsdon with the cleanup work on the offensive board, and then Coy Smith's quick hitter put the Tigers up by as many as 7 in the first half. But Brady Francis got clever first with a jumper here, and then by drawing the inexplicable blocking foul and hitting one at the line off Mr. Gabe McKenzie to shave the lead to 27-23 at the intermission. A hot start to the third quarter for Salisbury as Daniel Linneman rips home a corner triple and Brady Francis answers with his own from deep to tie the game up at 29 apiece. A Coy Smith catch and release jumper here stopped the Salisbury surge, but only temporarily, as the Panthers tied the game again at 31 on this Lane Springer post-up and repeatedly got to the line in the frame, putting Canton into foul trouble, though not many of those conversions were made at the line. Canton, though, pushed the lead back. First, it's Cameron Durst off inbound action. Then Gabe McKenzie turned up the heat. First off the block. Then it was his patented step-back move from a point of comfort. And finally, Lance Logsdon slices the lane for 2 more. And Canton would lead by as many as 8 points until Jordan Clark would bank home to beat the buzzer. And that would trim the Canton lead down to 40-35 entering the fourth quarter. Behind McKenzie, Canton would draw first blood in the final frame, but Salisbury's resilience is impressive. Lane Springer with a long 3 at the 4:45 mark ties the game at 44 apiece. Gabe McKenzie quickly answers with another jump shot, but suddenly the Tigers are in foul trouble and Salisbury's in the double bonus. Meanwhile, Lance Logsdon with a fine take here to get the lead back out to 4, but immediately in answer, it's Garrett Francis with a 3, and that trims the Canton lead to 50-49. Brady Francis just would not quit for Salisbury. This take cuts the lead to 52-51, and then it's Francis again in the final minute of the ball game, giving Salisbury its first lead since the first quarter at 53-52. With 53 seconds left, up 1, the Panthers had a chance to extend that lead, but missed both free throws at the line. It was Canton's turn then to prove its late-game mettle. Down 1, Gabe McKenzie gets himself to the line, can convert 1 of 2 to tie it up. Brady Francis with a chance to win it at the buzzer. His shot bounces out of the rim, and we're going to free basketball tied at 53. Salisbury would open the extra frame with an unforced turnover, and Canton would take advantage, first with a couple of Logan Brown free throws, and then a really pretty end-to-end move right here from Cameron Durst to extend the lead to 57-53. But the Panthers would get back into it at the charity stripe, closing to within 58-57 on a pair of Francis free throws. Unreal sequence right here. Canton has the ball stolen on the inbounds, stolen back by Coy Smith, stolen away by Brady Francis, who proceeds to brick the go-ahead layup. Cameron Durst comes away with the ball and the foul, 2 chances to shoot free throws, and puts his team up 60-57. 60-59 now, another big steal by Brady Francis, who has a chance again to put his team up. Biggest play of the ball game comes courtesy of the defense and courtesy of freshman Coy Smith.
Well, I turned the ball over a couple of times, and I knew he was coming up for a layup, and I just got up and blocked him.
Coy made a great play for us. He's made a lot of them here recently, and that defensive stop, that looked like an automatic 2 points right there, and he got the block, and then they had to take the ball to bounce. I think we got it stopped. So, those kind of plays have been happening by a lot of different people during this run. Not only Gabe, but Cameron making those 2 free throws late, giving us a 3-point lead. We're going to have to guard the arc instead of guard the lane area. That helped out a lot.
The Tigers would follow up Coy's block with a secondary stop, which sent Cameron Durst to the line to extend to 3 points in the lead with 2 free throws, and then watch Salisbury run out of miracles 62-59 in overtime to punch a ticket back to Columbia.
I remember back the first game at Knox, it was just like chaos. And, everybody kind of hung in there. The guys stuck with it. We were 1-3 at one time, and I told them we were going to have a roller coaster ride. And I didn't know how it was going to go coming into this year, but I did tell them we were going to get better throughout the year. And by the end of the year, by district, we were going to be a good basketball team because our freshmen had potential, and they just had to learn how to play and play at the varsity level. And I knew getting Brown back and healthy, and I knew what we had, and Gabe and Durst, we had 2 great players. So, just a great effort by our guys all throughout the year.
All season, people have been saying we're not as good as we were last year and this and that, but I think that we're going just where we were at last year, and I think that we can get it done.
It's been a crazy year for Canton Tigers sports, and I think this is so good for the school and just for our students. We deserve this. We work so hard. I mean, what more can you ask for?
But they just kept clawing back, but we never gave up and just kept D'ing them up and getting good shots on offense.
It's very satisfying to come up that big, progress that much throughout the season, to have our young guys really step up and progress and see them grow as players. And me and Cameron and Logan to be able to just pull through and hang on and tough it out.
For the guys coming back with that experience, they know what we're going to go through next week. And I just talked to them out in there, told them the same thing last year. Hey, we're not going on vacation next week. We're going back to bring the biggest trophy possible back. So we know what we're going there for, and that's the playing play like we have been for 30 games.
Yeah, so just another average day at the office or at the gymnasium, if you will. What a ball game that was. And the Canton Tigers, who finished in 3rd last season, have a chance to improve on that status if they can take out a really good Mid-Buchanan team coming up on Thursday. Mid-Buchanan takes out the defending state champ Sacred Heart of Sedalia today. 61-49 was your final, so clearly they're good. Got a chance to watch a little bit of huddle video tonight because we had some downtime. They look pretty long and pretty athletic. Should be a fun contest. Again, 140. This year we're back at Mizzou Arena rather than the Hearn Center, so that should be fun as well. Canton plays at 140, as I mentioned. We'll have much more on this big game coming up throughout the week. And speaking of big games, check this out. The Clopton Lady Hawks are doing what they do this time of year. Game played really late tonight, really far away in Farmington, so we don't have highlights of this one. 7:45 start, which is really odd for a Saturday in the postseason, but Clopton gets it done nevertheless in this game. Lauren Loggeman with 16 points tonight, the super sophomore. Ashton Loggeman with 12 as the Clopton Lady Hawks punch their ticket back to the Final Four. They end up beating Neelyville by 4. They will take on a really good Crane squad immediately following the Canton game, so hopefully a big crossover crowd from the Tri-States will be there to take in the fun and the action coming up on Thursday. Thank goodness we still have basketball season. Hoops.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar, brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. As you're probably painfully well aware by this point, the march in college basketball madness has been unfortunately abrupt for our area teams. The John Wood Trailblazers carried the area's best hope to reverse that polarity on the trend as Brad Hoyt's crew came in as the top seed in the Region 24 tournament in Springfield, 2 wins shy of securing a National D2 tournament berth. First obstacle, in JUCO of course, was Lincoln this afternoon. And this game was sort of a
Well, it was sort of a litmus test on the value of Jordan Johnson, and man, what a dynamic point guard he has proven himself to be time and again this season. Great setup work right here. He's seemingly everywhere. Drive, distribute, dish, and then knock down the long three right here to give his team its first points of the ballgame. Johnson again coming up strong here. Pushing tempo on this one. Going to find Brody Gronwald, who's going to move the ball nicely as well. Tell you what, the Blazers very unselfish as they would build a 9-4 lead in this one. Andrew Howard for the finish right there. Pretty stuff on the inside, and we're not done with Mr. Jordan Johnson. Pure point guard, yes, but he can stroke the rock as well. Long three from the corner pocket at that point, then more on the interior from Andrew Howard. As the Blazers were looking every bit the one seed in this one, building an early 14-7 lead. They're not done yet. Jordan Johnson going to channel, I should say, his inner Jordan Johnson, or his inner Kyle Lowry, because he is Jordan Johnson. Great kiss off the glass for him. More to come in this one. How about Paxton Harmon? This pass right to him from the other team. We'll call that a steal. Johnson going to work the other end, and there's going to be skipping at the end of this. I promise you, plenty of skipping as the Blazers, yeah, there it is, up 21-12 at that point. Johnson on the day with 23 points. Off the gauge, Klitz missed, the former Payson star. How about the Blazers running the rock again? This time it's Peter Odia doing some work. Oh, a little Euro step and makes his way to the basket. Beautiful stuff from him. And then how about Brody Gronwald just doing absolute work in this ball game today. Had himself a pretty darn good day. 20 points for him, firing from Petersburg for this three. He has the NBA range, and then it's more of Brody with the JSORSs, the jump shots of ridiculous size right here as he knocks that home as well. Oh, it's just a huge lead at this point. The Blazers just going to continue to augment it. Mr. Howard comes free on the inside yet again. Paxton Harmon had a big day as well. Going to be working the offensive glass right here, the pride of West Hancock, as he had 26 points to lead all scorers. As I mentioned, Brody Gronwald with 12. The Blazers really leave no doubt about it, running away from things the back end of this ball game, winning by 13. That is a very impressive margin indeed. And for the Blazers' efforts, they're moving on with an 83-70 victory. Up next for them, a showdown tomorrow at 2 o'clock for a date in the national tournament as they will take on Danville area. Check out the scores. Danville area beat Parkland today, 69-52 to advance. So we'll have that ball game for you coming up with highlights tomorrow night right here with Will Wilson. Well, it is, my friends, a shared trait among the most successful sports programs that opportunities for rooted excellence exist everywhere, even in seemingly the most minute detail or mundane chore. In quest to achieve their own lofty basketball goals, the John Wood programs for basketball have turned their trust and their hydration needs over to the best and most inspirational girl in the game. Will Wilson has her story.
In life, many desires don't come easy. We are taught to work tirelessly for what we are passionate about. John Wood's men's and women's water girl Nicole Landis never worried about whether she'd fail. She just was herself and did what she loved. Little did anyone know how much joy she'd bring them along the way. She's been giving that to the basketball program for over a decade.
In the early years, it was sometimes a little frustrating because you want her to do good, and she wasn't always as quick with the water as she is now. And sometimes Mom would come down out of the stands to help her distribute the water because the girls were getting a little thirsty before Nicole got there. But she was a lot younger then and didn't quite understand what her job was.
I had a girls team guard, I think. I played my brother one time.
Nicole was 16 when she started the water duties with her older brother Brock. When he went off to college, Nicole took over full time.
It's huge for her and just gives her something else to look forward to.
She's always been Nicole, and she's always done a great job at what she does. But I think even in the last 2 or 3 years since I've been in that first chair, I think she's continued to grow and take ownership of something that not many people would take ownership of.
No, foot up, lot. I did girls too, team, same one, girls and boys together.
This is Nicole's 13th year courtside with the Blazers, and every year she's even more excited for the season to start. She's found a second home here, a second family who's welcomed her with open arms.
Yeah, she need me badly.
She literally wakes up in the morning wondering when our next game is.
She's bugging Bev to bring a schedule home before the schedules are out.
Knowing that she's got to have her clothes laid out, her uniform, she calls it.
It's not just game day for her. Like, she thinks about it. She knows when the next game is.
She gets upset if for some reason we have to miss a game. We've missed a couple this year.
She's afraid she'll be fired.
She wasn't happy.
She uses those words that she'll be fired, and she cannot hand that.
Where's the schedule at?
Home.
You you look at yourself?
Yes.
Can you tell me what day the game is?
Yeah.
So that I don't forget?
Yeah, can you get that?
Yeah. Boys and girls? Or
Both.
If things aren't going well, Nicole doesn't hold back one bit on letting the team hear about it.
She takes losses about as bad as I do, you know, and gets excited about wins as much as I do. And during the course of the game, you'll see her giving me hugs and telling me to settle down.
Sit down, coach. Easy. What's that wrong, dude? Move your feet. Move your feet.
Get your head in the game. Your head's not in the game. She would go tell them that, and so then we had to tell her to back off on that a little bit, that was the coach's job. But, yeah, she thinks she's part of that team.
She had a great outlook, and I think all of us need somebody in our lives that give us that outlook from time to time, and fortunately for me, she's one of those. For me, to see these big guys come up to her and give her a hug and recognize that she might not have that otherwise. And so, and the girls too. I mean, once they get to know her, she's just like them in the end.
And like her teammates, Nicole's response when asking how much she wants a championship?
Lot.
All the way?
Yeah.
Championship?
Yes.
She may very well be the X factor. Will Wilson, KHQA Sports.
Great job, Nicole. Great job, Will. What a great story. And I tell you what, if you're looking for a rooting interest with John Wood, there you have one. Nicole, fantastic. Let's talk a little basketball today. The news not good for Western Illinois in the first round of the Summit League tournament, taking on the top seed South Dakota State University. It was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, despite 19 points from J.D. Fuller. Oh, wow. All about SDSU today. 87-50 was your final there. Well, the Leatherneck women open their quest for an elusive NCAA tournament bid tomorrow against IUPUI. Noon start time in Sioux Falls, and maybe Tori Neiman's force of will, famous around here since her high school days in Canton, will be enough to help her extend her basketball swan song for as long as humanly possible.
It'll be emotional for Tori, and it'll be emotional for this coaching staff because Tori's given so much to this program, not just in her 2 years of playing, but in her 3 years of being here. You know, she was part of that group with Ashley that changed the culture, I think, and it will be emotional. I think there's hopefully that thought in the back of our head that regardless of what happens, we're at least in the conversation for a postseason tournament. And so there's the hope that the season isn't over regardless, but you know, the reality of that coming up at some point is going to set in, and basketball's been a huge part of Tori's life, so it'll be emotional for all of us.
On that game. So let's take a look at the scoreboards if we could for baseball. Some diamond action today. Let's advance those scoreboards if we could. We'll start off in the Heart of America Conference. Culver Stockton getting swept by Cumberland 5-2 in the first game today and 4-3 in the second. How about in the Midwest Conference today as we move up to the NCAA? It was Illinois College knocking off Northland 16-2. Huge day for the pride of Carrollton, Josh Crumweedy, who went 3 for 4 at the plate, had a 3-run home run as well. So big day for him as Illinois College opens up very successfully. Also in that same conference, a tough loss for the pride of West Hancock, Austin Hardy. Pitched today, got the loss, went 5 1/3. Gave up just 1 earned run, but got no run support as Monmouth loses to Ohio Northern today. Final count in that one was 1-0. Also today, John Wood opens its season with a big-time victory. 9-2 was your final in that ball game. 4 games in the last 48 hours for the Quincy University softball team. We'll give you this score from yesterday. Quincy University beats Ferris State 10-3. The Lady Hawks have gone 3-1 over the course of their run the last couple of days. They beat Grand Valley State 6-2. Today they beat Cedarville 9-1, and their only loss came at the hands of Ashland 5-2 was your final there. Hey, we've got more overtime coming your way straight after this.